English teachers want you to write confidently, logically, and passionately about literature and films. From time to time, you may be asked to write a text essay. Your focus could be a novel, poem, short story, or even a film. In each of these cases, you'll be given a topic that invites you to write more about the text. For example, you might be given this topic on Animal Farm. By the end of Animal Farm, there is little difference between the tyranny of Napoleon and Farmer Jones. Do you agree? Or this topic on To Kill a Mockingbird. To Kill a Mockingbird demonstrates how this harsh and unforgiving world erodes the naivety and innocence of childhood. Discuss. Or this topic on Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet find themselves torn between their feelings and their loyalty to family. What role does loyalty play in Romeo and Juliet? In each of these topics, you're presented with an idea that you need to respond to with a thoughtful, informed, and focused piece of writing. Start by underlining the key phrases in the essay topic. A successful essay is one that focuses on these ideas and has a clear understanding of the key terms. In this essay topic on Animal Farm, for example, it's worthwhile precisely defining the word tyranny and focusing your response on these characters. In this essay topic on Romeo and Juliet, you not only need to define the term loyalty, but also think about its meaning within the context of the play. Should Romeo and Juliet be loyal to each other, their families, their friends? What happens when these loyalties are challenged? Once you've unpacked the topic, it's time to start taking a close look at the text. These essays are an invitation to express a sophisticated reading of the text, so it pays to go through the book or film and jot down characters, scenes, and quotes relevant to the topic. Taking time to think about the topic and find examples will help you write a more sophisticated essay. Remember, your English teacher wants to see insight and knowledge. Now that you've thought about the topic in detail and planned out your response, it's time to get writing. Remember that essays are written in a formal style. Avoid writing in the first person, for example, I think or I believe. Remember that you also need to write in the literary present. This is the practice of using the present tense when writing about books and films. Rather than write, Juliet was overcome with grief and killed herself, you would write, Juliet is overcome with grief and kills herself. In terms of structure, a text essay must have an introduction, at least 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. The introduction to an essay should clearly state your contention on the topic. There should be no confusion about your take on the essay prompt. Do you agree, disagree, or partially agree? An introduction also provides an overview of the main points that will appear in the body of your essay. Try to avoid listing your arguments. Instead, give a sense of how they relate to the topic. When you're writing an introduction, show that you understand the topic by expressing it in your own words. Avoid simply restating the topic. Try to find appropriate synonyms for these key terms that both express your understanding of the topic and show how expressive you are. Here's an introduction to an essay topic on Of Mice and Men. Of Mice and Men, written by John Steinbeck and set during the 1930s, captures the poverty and suffering of the Great Depression. Throughout the novella, Steinbeck explores how hopes and dreams sustain characters during difficult times. George's simple dream of owning a small farm provides comfort for both him and Lenny. Candy and Crooks also takes solace in this dream, yearning for a life free from solitude and discrimination. Even when they are little more than unattainable delusions, these dreams tend to provide consolation. Curly's wife entertains unlikely dreams of becoming an actress, which provide relief from the isolation of the farm and her dissatisfying marriage. Note that you can use a short quotation from the novel in your introduction as long as it's central to the essay topic. Remember that a good introduction will state your contention and outline the key points that will appear in the body of the essay. Use Thiel's structure to ensure that your body paragraphs are logical and focused. Begin with a topic sentence that explains the idea you're about to discuss and how it relates to the topic. Go on to explain these ideas, supporting your discussion with close reference to the characters, scenes, and language features, such as metaphors or language choices in the text. Support your discussion by using short quotations from the novel in sentences of your own. End with another topic sentence that ties these ideas back to the essay prompt. Here is an example of a body paragraph on an essay topic about Animal Farm. There is no question that Farmer Jones is a cruel and neglectful master who tyrannizes over the animals on Manor Farm. At the beginning of the novel, Orwell reveals that Jones was too drunk to remember to shut the potholes which allow the animals to congregate and listen to Old Major's speech. During the speech, Old Major describes how their lives are miserable, laborious, and short. The animals are forced to work to the last atom of their strength and know nothing except misery and slavery. It is clear that Farmer Jones is cruel. Old Major describes how the young pigs will scream their lives out at the block. The dogs, when they outlive their usefulness, will be drowned in the nearest pond. This callous and unfair treatment, however, doesn't seem to be motivated by malice or selfishness. It is the simple pragmatism of a farmer. Inspired by the centuries of oppression from the Tsarist regime in Russia, Farmer Jones is unquestionably a cruel and heartless master. His tyranny, however, pales in comparison to the cunning, selfishness, and manipulation of the pigs. Effective body paragraphs make frequent use of relevant quotations to support the discussion. The best way to do this is by incorporating short, direct quotations from the text into your own sentences. For example, Old Major believed that anything that went upon 2 legs is an enemy. You can introduce longer quotations using a colon. For example, Old Major believed that all men were enemies. Whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. But it's a good idea to avoid quoting large slabs from the text. Your teacher is much more interested in reading your discussion of the novel. This paragraph is effective because the quotes are short and integrated seamlessly into sentences. When you're explaining ideas, you'll often find yourself using the word shows or demonstrates. Here are some common synonyms you can use for these words. Remember that each of these words has a slightly different meaning, and always check if it's right for what you're trying to write. When you're writing an essay, here are some useful words you can use to link your ideas together. Remember that a body paragraph will begin with a topic sentence that explains the idea you're about to discuss and how it relates to the topic. Explain your ideas clearly where appropriate, commenting on characters, scenes, and language features such as metaphors and symbols, and avoid simply retelling the story. Use short quotations from the text in sentences of your own to support your discussion, and finish with a link sentence to tie your ideas back to the topic. The conclusion of your essay should briefly recap the ideas that you've discussed and tie up your argument. A good conclusion should leave your reader with the impression that you have convincingly answered the essay topic. Try to avoid repeating yourself. You can use short quotations in the conclusion if it's relevant, but ensure you don't introduce any new points. Here is a sample conclusion on an essay topic about To Kill a Mockingbird. Ultimately, Harper Lee demonstrates how a harsh and unforgiving world inevitably erodes the naivety and innocence of childhood. At the beginning of the story, Scout views the world through the eyes of a child, albeit tainted by the prejudice of Maycomb. Through new experiences, particularly the trial of Robinson, Scout's views and opinions change, and by the novel's conclusion, she has blossomed into a more understanding person. Lee uses the character of Scout to show the nuance of losing one's innocence, how understanding is ultimately gained at the expense of innocence. This conclusion is effective because it restates the contention, recaps the main points of the essay, and brings the discussion to a close. Remember, when you're writing an essay, make sure you develop a clear contention, plan your essay thoroughly, ensure you have a clear introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. Use teal structure when you're writing your body paragraphs, and use short, relevant quotations to support your discussion.